Hello, 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 everyone. Everybody's joining on, jumping on. Welcome in, welcome in. Give folks a little bit of time to jump on here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. See folks trickling in. Good morning, good morning. See some old friends there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Tour Tuesday. And we'll get started here in a couple of minutes. We'll give folks a little bit of time to trickle in. All right, all right. Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. As you can see, this is the United Way of Greater Nashville's virtual Tour Tuesday. My name is Darius Moore. I'm an account manager here with you, the Greater Nashville United Way. Definitely excited to have everyone today. I have the great pleasure of being able to work this Tour Tuesday series. For all that haven't been exposed to or haven't had the opportunity to join us for Tour Tuesday before, Tour Tuesday is essentially an opportunity for folks here in our community to get an inside look at the great work happening in our community through the work with our partner agencies with United Way. For fellow nonprofit folks, this is a great way to learn about some of the other service providers and programs that might be beneficial to the clients and the communities that you serve. For those wanting to get involved and volunteer, it's a great way to hear more about some of those volunteer opportunities and engagement opportunities for folks from your companies. And for all of our United Way donors, this is obviously a fantastic opportunity to hear about some of the great agencies that you're investing your dollars into. While we do hope that this is, we do have the opportunities to get together again soon for in-person tours. We're happy to do this virtual series just to give everybody a chance to be able to join us and engage. On today's Tour Tuesday, as you can see, a good friend of mine, Miss Karen Gillingham, is here to join us from the New Beginning Center. And they'll talk a little bit about the work they do, providing the services and empowering women to make significant changes to improve their health and quality of life. So we have the great privilege of having Miss Karen Gillingham, the Director of Operations for the New Beginnings Center. And so we'll start today's session just giving an overview of the work that New Beginnings does. She'll talk a little bit about some of the specific things they're working on and have been working on throughout the last couple of years. And then we'll follow that up with a little bit of a Q&A. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Ms. Karen Gillingham with New Beginnings.
Thanks so much, Darius. And thanks everybody for being here today. I really appreciate this opportunity to be here with all of you and tell you a little bit about our mission and the work we do and what we're looking forward to in the coming months and years. I'm the Director of Operations for New Beginnings. I've been here for 3 years, and I have fitness and personal training was a second career for me. I had always worked in marketing and development, worked with nonprofits a lot during my career. And when I moved to Nashville 3 years ago, I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue to do personal training, have a studio here, or if I should just make a change. And I found this position with New Beginnings, which was just a perfect match for me. It was an opportunity for me to bring my nonprofit experience with my love of training and my passion for helping women discover the strength in themselves. So that's how I got here. And I feel like I have the best job in the world. And just a little bit about New Beginnings. We celebrated 10 years last year. Our founder is Tash Weddle, and she was a former strength and conditioning coach at Vanderbilt. And she was actually working with the former president of Habitat for Humanity, Chris McCarthy. And so she and Chris just started brainstorming and thought, how great would it be to bring services, personal training, nutrition, and behavior change to people who couldn't otherwise afford it. So that's when they started the New Beginnings Center. And I'm going to share my screen now, and we'll look at just a little video and some slides. All right.
And Karen, while you're getting set up, for everyone that's joining us, again, today is essentially to get a good overview of the work that the New Beginnings Center does. But we're going to definitely keep this super casual despite my bow tie, which I'll address the elephant in the room. I got a bow tie on, so that's my thing. Karen was supposed to be wearing a bow tie too, but I don't know what happened. I think
no.
Got lost in the shuffle this
morning. I let you down. Yeah.
Nonetheless, we want to keep this as casual as possible. As far as you all, please feel free to enter questions that you have through the chat. Again, we'll answer those questions in full after we do a brief presentation. At the end of the presentation, Karen will talk through a couple of highlights that she wants to share. But it'll give you an opportunity to ask specific questions. So feel free to enter those into the chat. I'll see them, and we'll definitely get those addressed. So with no further ado, carry on.
Here we go.
A good coach sees the potential in someone who may not see that themselves and brings it out in them. Especially in the fitness industry, personal training, nutrition coaching can be out of the reach for so many financially. And so we wanted to help women with lower incomes have this opportunity. The cost for one woman to receive our services for 1 year is $1,000. Over 80% of the women in the New Beginnings program have qualified for full scholarships, meaning there's no cost to them. We don't want cost to be a barrier for anyone. At the New Beginnings Center, we offer individualized nutrition coaching, fitness training, and what we call behavior change coaching. But one of the most important things that we do here is seeing how these women have bonded with each other and created a community of strong, like-minded women. Our program breaks down health barriers, and it's actually preventative health care. Your donation makes a bigger difference than you could ever know in these women's lives.
Oops, sorry about that.
A good coach.
Here we go. And this is our mission statement. And we have served more than 3,000 women since we started 10 years ago. But basically, we want our main goal is to help women discover the strength in themselves, inside and out, through our coaching. Just trying to advance my slide here. I'm not sure why that's not going. Let me try this. There we go. Okay. So we do our work through 12-week programs primarily. We have 3 different programs that we offer every year, starting in January, April, and July. And we meet twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Our next session is starting up April 5th. So we are accepting applications now for that. We break up every class into 2 parts. We spend 30 minutes in our classroom where we talk about healthy habits, talk about nutrition, what belongs on our plate. We do a lot of self-actualization work because we know that we need to feel good about ourselves in order to make positive, sustainable change. So we do things like destination postcards where we write a letter from our future self to our current self, just encouraging us to stay on the path that the reward is worth it. We do vision boards, and we also do a book study in the class. So lots of opportunities to share, to just think about our core values and the person that we want to be, and just to try to get all those things in alignment. And it's hard to do, and hard to do in 12 weeks, but we are able to help our clients to just fill up a toolkit that they can take with them. Then we spend 30 minutes on our floor in a strength training program. We do quarterly in-body scans so that we are able to measure fat loss and muscle gain. So we do not like the scale, just the plain old scale, because the scale doesn't tell us what's going on inside. So when we gain muscle, that number will be reflected on the scale. But what we're more concerned about is fat loss and visceral fat loss. And then we also do pre and post program surveys so that we have some data to share with our funders about the effectiveness of our program. Most of our clients have never set foot in the gym or have ever done strength training before. And strength training is really just one little component of our program that helps women understand that they can do things that they've never done before. We all know that making change is really hard. But when we start to learn about all the things that we should be doing with nutrition, how much water, how much movement we should be getting, it can really seem like a lot. And but doing the work that we do on the gym floor just right away helps women realize that they can do a ring row or a suspended row, that they can lift a heavy kettlebell, things that they just never even thought that they could do. And so very quickly in the program, we see people just, standing up a little taller, walking a little lighter, just because of what they're experiencing on the gym floor. Our clients tell us that, we like to think that the most important part of our program is all of the information that we share, but we hear from the women that the most important piece of their success is the connection that they make with other ladies who are on a similar health journey. As caregivers and caretakers, women take on a lot, often at the expense of ourselves. And so our program gives women permission to put themselves first and make them understand that that's not being selfish, right? And by taking care of ourselves first, we have more energy to give to the people that we love. We have more energy to give to the work that we do, to our volunteer things and all of the other things that we do. So it's just like if anybody's ever been on an airplane, I'm sure most people have, and they say, put your oxygen mask on first and then help somebody else. This is what that is. The exercises that we coach in our program are functional in nature. So we need to be able to sit down and stand back up. We need to be able to pick up things from the floor without hurting our back. And so we teach moves like the squat, hinges, or deadlifts. We do a lot of balance work in our program, because anytime that we throw our body slightly off balance just by standing on one foot or even a split stance, or we push something away from our body that's trying to pull us the other direction, our core muscles are fired up and engaged. And that helps our posture. It helps us to protect our back from injury. We do upper body work, where we do, pushing exercises, pulling exercises, lots of core work like planks. And so we use, like in this picture, we have ropes, and you can see the rings hanging in the background. We use kettlebells, dumbbells, resistance bands, all the things, sleds. And so I mentioned our InBody body composition analyzer a little bit ago, where we keep track of fat loss and lean muscle gain. We're currently seeing on average about an 8% body composition change just in 12 weeks, which is amazing. And so women who achieve an 8% body composition change, they are making some changes to their nutrition. So they are starting to replace processed foods with real food. They are prioritizing protein. And so when I say that, what I mean is that we're trying to get 4 to 6 palm-sized servings of protein a day. For most people. For people who do not eat lean meats, if someone is a vegetarian, we can still see the gains in muscle. We know that there is protein in vegetables, and but I just wanted to throw that out there, because some people think, if I don't eat meat, what are my chances? And so again, we really, the numbers that we're most concerned, or that we focus in on most, are fat loss, visceral fat loss, as well as the muscle improvement that people are making in the program. When a client finishes our 12-week program, she can repeat the program at any time. She could go again in the next 12 weeks, or she can wait and come back anytime. We do know that sometimes people get to the end of the 12 weeks and they feel like they're just starting to get some traction. And so they feel like, I need to keep this schedule going for myself. So women are welcome to repeat. We also offer free exercise classes for our graduates on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, so that anybody who comes through our program always has access to a gym that is all women, and it is really clean. Judgment-free zone. So they know that they can always come in for quality training. And then I just wanted to mention real quick, we're very, very excited about a new app that we're going to be launching. I'm probably in July. And it's going to integrate with Fitbit and with Apple Watches. And we're going to be able to provide workouts for clients. We're going to be able to provide just ongoing material for them to support them in their health journeys. And it's also going to be a great way for us to keep in touch and keep track of data and how our clients are doing on a long-term basis. We offer monthly workshops as a way to, for our New Beginnings family, but it's also a way that we can get introduced to new people in the community. Sometimes we work with other nonprofit agencies. In the upper right-hand corner, we worked with Nashville Food Project to do a container gardening workshop. The Nashville Opera was just here last Saturday and did a kids performance, which was amazing. In the lower left, one of our clients, Lenise Campbell, she makes herb butter, And so she did a presentation for us. So we love to involve our clients, but then we also love to involve people from the community. Terry is our Tai Chi master there. He is a veteran who teaches Tai Chi and does teacher training to veterans. And so he did a couple of workshops for us. And then we did an artful meditation workshop. So just trying to use some different skills as a way to de-stress. And then we did the soundtrack of our lives with TPAC last year, which was really great. That is a very cool activity. We have a teenage girls program that we are piloting right now, and it's going very well. And so we're going to be getting this off the ground in the next several months. But we wanted to bring our program to girls between the ages of 13 and 18. We are targeting girls, all girls will be welcome, but really targeting girls who are not part of an organized sports team. We know that those teenage years can be kind of tough, and we know how empowering exercise is. And sometimes girls feel like that kind of activity is really just for people who are in sports. And so we just want to show them how they can incorporate some movement. And then it's a time for them to share and connect with each other. And so we're very, very excited about this program that we're starting. And then I just wanted to let you all know too that we take our program out into the community. So we do a class on Monday nights at St. Luke's Community House. We do a program at the Nashville Public Library in Antioch on Wednesday nights. These are all free classes. We go to the Magruder Family Resource Center on Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon. And then I do a seniors program at the Bethlehem Center on Thursdays as well. And then I just wanted to let you all know about some volunteer opportunities that we have here. We have people who will come to the classes that we have on Tuesdays and Thursday nights during our 12-week program, even if you don't have a fitness background, but you just like the idea of what we do. We love for people to be on the floor to help encourage our clients and just say, way to go, you're doing great. And then if we also have people help us set up equipment and then clean it at the end of the workout before the next class rolls in. Ambassadors are people familiar with our work who will come with us to health fairs. We haven't done these in a little while, but we're hoping these to start coming back soon. Health fairs or just different events to help represent New Beginnings. Luminaries are the people who do our workshops. So anybody who has, just a skill, something that they like to share. So we've had people come in and do meditation workshops for us, decluttering, a wardrobe. It was like how to edit your closet. So we've had a lot of really interesting workshops, and we just love to just consider all kinds of topics. And then creatives are our volunteers who come in and will take pictures for us and maybe do some videos and pull some things together that we can use in our marketing efforts. So Darius, I'm going to pause there and just see if there are some questions before I talk about habits.
Don't see any in the chat thus far, but I will follow in, and thank you again, Karen, for sharing that and kind of giving an overview of the work that New Beginnings does. Obviously, we know health is a huge issue in our community with so many health issues linked to lifestyle behaviors. It's so refreshing to know that this program and the work that you all do in the New Beginnings Center helps to to help folks have some more resources and better understanding to make those lifestyle changes that can significantly improve their personal health. And the fact that you all have a very concentrated focus area and focused demographic of serving women in our community who all have plenty of responsibilities, just like everyone else, but more so because of all the different roles that they're asked to play, I think is tremendous. And so love that you highlighted teen girls. I have one myself. So
Yes.
I know that is a critical piece of, and my daughter is involved in sports and whatnot. And I know it's really helped her mental health. And so I can speak firsthand on the positive benefits of being active and having something engaging. So I think that's really incredible that y'all have a focused emphasis on those girls that aren't as actively involved in sports. So talk a little bit more about that as we're waiting for more questions that get dropped in the chat.
Yeah, so the components of the program are the same in a way as our adult women's program in terms of covering nutrition and just healthy lifestyle behaviors and then the exercise. But it is definitely age appropriate. So we know that the girls in our program are probably not the ones who are doing the grocery shopping and the meal planning, but we can talk at least about processed foods versus real foods. What does that mean, and why is it important to have foods like fruits and vegetables? Understanding a little bit about the nutrients that they give our bodies, and that and how foods can affect our mood, and how moods can affect our food choices. And then it's I think one of the greatest parts of the program that I'm hearing so far is just the girls' ability just to connect with each other and share whatever is on their mind. And it's just a very safe space for them to share with each other. Currently the girls are all from different schools. They're all different ages. But it's been wonderful to see. And I think that the fact that they are not with some of their close friends, that it's a little bit easier for them to just be who they want to be when they're with us in this space.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I know that the social component is a big part of it. And I know that there has been a lot more emphasis and a lot more need for emphasis with the pandemic happening and everybody kind of being isolated. So, and I'll ask, so that's a great segue into the next part of our discussion. So talk a little bit about, as we look forward and also reflect back on the last couple of years, obviously during the pandemic. Can you talk and share a little bit about what are some of the things that New Beginnings has done to adapt during the pandemic in terms of how you reach? Obviously, being in person and having that face-to-face interaction is a huge component of the work that you all do serving the community. So talk a little bit how y'all have adapted through that.
Yeah, we were in it was right about now, I think, because we were in week 10 of our 12-week program in March of 2020 when we had to just shift. And we, what do you do? We couldn't leave these women who were so close to graduating from the program just, hanging out there. So we quickly learned how to use Zoom, and everybody was all about it. So we also give everybody a resistance band to take home as part of our program. So we still did our workouts via Zoom. So we just did our last 2 weeks, just as we would, just changed our workouts so that everybody could do it comfortably at home with a resistance band. And then we had our first online graduation. It went great, because it was at that time where, of course, everybody would have preferred in person, but it was this, everyone's just trying to wrap their head around this new reality. And so being connected, even this way, with little windows, it worked very well. And then we realized that we couldn't do our April in-person program. So we offered a 6-week program because we were sure that everything was just going to be back to normal in 6 weeks. So I said, yeah, let's just do a 6-week. Well, it'll mostly focus on just mental well-being, because that's really what we need right now. So, and it was exciting because we were able to reach so many more people. I think everybody really had a need for connection. They had a need for just practicing some skills, some resilient skills. And so we ended up meeting a lot of new people through that program. And then when that ended, we did an 8-week program. And then actually, it was a 4-week, sorry. It was a 4-week and then an 8-week, I guess that equals 12. So then in July, we did a virtual program. And then we did 2 hybrid classes. So one class met completely online for the 12 weeks. And then the 2 other classes, we did a Monday night Zoom session where we covered all of the curriculum. So we didn't go in our classroom at all. And then we did meet in person on Tuesdays and Thursdays with masks in our gym in a new layout that was socially distanced. So and our gym is still laid out that way. And that's another silver lining that came from COVID, is that for our new beginnings classes, we used to do circuit. So we would break the class into 3 groups and everybody would travel around from circuit to circuit. And now everybody has her own workout space, and every workout space has power blocks, which are just adjustable dumbbells. And they have all of the things they need. They have a rack, they have resistance bands and a suspension training like a TRX, and a bench. And so we don't have to trade around equipment. And everybody, yeah. So that was really a nice deal, because when we would be in our circuits, let's say that we had kettlebells set out for people to do a kettlebell deadlift.
Mhm.
People will go to the smallest kettlebell to lift it instead of looking at the biggest one going, and so now we have, everybody has her workout card, and, we're walking around saying, making sure that that the weight is appropriate for them. Let me say that. And so if we can tell that somebody can go up, we're going to get them the next size kettlebell, or, make a suggestion. So we've really been able to do even a little bit more personal training with them and individual strength development, which has been really exciting.
That's awesome. And you talked about some of the silver linings and some of those things that you all adapted. So what other things are that y'all have created outside of those individualized spaces and the equipment that you are keeping, that you've adapted, and things that you think, hey, this really works and is really helpful and helps to maybe alleviate any pressures or anything that's going to cause folks to not be as engaged or be able to be present? What other things have y'all adapted that you think, hey, this is definitely something that we want to keep going forward?
I think the other big thing that we implemented was just some virtual check-ins with clients. And so they look a little bit, or they're all a little bit different. We do like a habit review for some clients. And then we just have other virtual, it's just kind of like connection groups, let me put it that way. And so some people just need a little reset. Some people just need connection. They just want to see people, talk to people. So we've kept the virtual, and it kind of expanded our offering. And we've also been able to ask clients for their help in this, because clients who come through our program, and especially those who've been through it a couple of times, some of them are better coaches than me. And so they are so inspirational and motivational, and they're sharing they're sharing stories, and here's how I got over my challenge for food prepping. This is a recipe I made. Everybody should try it. It's super easy. So that's probably another thing, just like keeping the virtual programming going to stay connected with people who may not be able to come in to the center.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It sounds like you all have really made it as easy and as feasible as possible for folks to get access to the resources that you provide, and making sure that it's an equitable amount of resources that you're sharing out to the community. So that I think that's awesome. And I think it helps to underscore the reasons why and the type of relationships that United Way fosters with our nonprofit partners, such as New Beginnings, because it helps to support those services and promote healthy living in our community. So I love it. So what I'll also ask is maybe talk about, what are you looking forward to? So I talked about being reflective. What are you looking forward to for you and the team at New Beginnings, looking forward to for the upcoming next year and year plus, as far as how you're engaging and supporting the community?
Absolutely. And I just, one of the things I forgot to mention when I was going through my slides is that New Beginnings programming is in the evenings. And so the gym where our center was sitting empty during the day. So Tash started a social enterprise called TNB Fitness. And TNB Fitness provides personal training for market rate clients. And so a portion of the fee that personal training clients pay for TNB Fitness goes directly towards New Beginnings as an income stream. And and that business has just gone crazy this year. We've seen people coming back. There was quite a big drop off, obviously, during COVID, and then a reticence in many to come back when it was possible to start coming back to the gym. But in the last 3 or 4 months, we've just seen a huge growth on that side of the business. And so the New Beginnings Center is looking forward to just continuing the work that we're doing here. We're going to keep on with our 12-week programs, offering 3 different classes a night. So we're able to work with about 52 women every quarter, because we can have up to 14 in a class. We're looking forward to just expanding our partnerships. We have a partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters, where we are bringing a virtual program to their parents 2 different times a year. And we we're working with Thistle Farms with their one of their residences, bringing a nutrition and wellness conversation to them every week. And so we're just looking forward to growing in that way. Once we get our app up and running, we will be looking forward to expanding our program and possibly duplicating it in other cities. We feel like this new technology is going to make that a lot easier to share our curriculum and also to train coaches. So we trying to think what else besides, and then with our the Teen Girls program, we do hope to be bringing that to schools because we feel like that is going to help alleviate a big transportation issue that we're facing right now. Mm-hmm. So just looking forward to growing.
Awesome. Well, I think this is such wonderful information that you've shared. I will ask before we jump into the Q&A. Can you share a little bit, Karen? You talked a little high level about some of those volunteer opportunities and folks from the community that want to get engaged and support the work that you do outside of just being clients. Can you share a little bit more about what those look like with you guys now and going forward?
Sure. So the easy answer is that we will never turn away any help. So we will find a place for everyone. And volunteers can help us just on a one-off basis, like I've got time to help you with this health fair, and we use Hands on Nashville as a way to communicate some of our volunteer opportunities. So we have had people who have nutrition backgrounds, maybe even, a dietitian, maybe a certified life coach that want to come in and work with a class. Some of our volunteers will be here both Tuesday and Thursday night for one of the classes. I always encourage people just to pick one because staying for 3 classes twice a week can be a lot. And so, if somebody just has an hour to give, we'll take it. If somebody really wants the exposure and it feels good, it really moves them to be able to give back, then we sometimes have people helping us both Tuesday and Thursday evenings. As far as workshops are concerned, that's a really big area where we love to have people who, you don't even have to necessarily be, a professional, but if you are somebody who is pretty good at budgeting and has a plan, a structure that you could share with people who might need that kind of assistance. People who love to cook, who could do a food demonstration. If you have an air fryer and know how to make great veggies, things like that. So that's a really great way for us to we love our volunteers who help us with our workshops. And then, and being here just, even just at graduation or at the beginning of a program to get some pictures, because we just always need updated photos of our classes and the work that we do. And I always have I usually have my phone in my pocket, but when I'm out on the floor, I never get to it. So I talk too much.
I love it. I think we all can relate to that in some form or fashion or the other. I know I'm a bit of a talker, so sometimes I have to just step back and listen to all the great things that are out there. So I'll at this point, I think it'll be great to hear from the rest of the group. I think this is the best space of any to really start asking questions that you may have had and may have been pondering on with regard to getting engaged and volunteering, understanding the structures of hosting volunteer opportunities, but also understanding better how to plug in and what options are out there. So this is definitely a space that we want to make sure we open up to anybody. So we'll definitely take some time for have all the attendees. If you can just drop your questions in the chat.
Yeah, and they could be health questions,
for
health
sure.
and wellness, fitness, anything.
Don't be shy.
And while you're doing that, while you're thinking, I'll just share our New Beginnings anchor habit with you, which is water, walk, and sleep. And so we help people remember this rule by it's called just the 7-7-7 rule. So 7 cups of water, 7 hours of sleep, and 7,000 steps. Yes, got mine too. So we actually want to get about 64 ounces of water, but just to help people remember, how much should I be drinking? Start with 7. And then we want to try to get 7 or 8 hours of sleep. We're all a little bit different with that, but there are definitely studies that show that people who are sleep deprived, it's harder to make healthy choices throughout the day. We crave carbohydrates because carbs give us energy. And so trying to get that sleep, that's a tough one. It's a tough one, especially if people wake up in the middle of the night and have a hard time getting back to sleep. But we just have to keep working at that. And then 7,000 steps, just depending on where you are. If you're somebody who is pretty sedentary at work, maybe only get 1,500 a day. We just encourage people to just add a little bit, just maybe 300 to 500 steps a day. And they do not have to be like out walking around steps. They can be, standing in place, marching. Everybody can do that. Let's see. So that was our, water, walk, and sleep. And then, getting up to 10,000 steps is fantastic if you can. Some people have that daily goal, which is amazing, but you just have to start where you are. And then just every day, just do a little bit better.
My wife's favorite phrase is start by starting.
Yes.
So you have to start somewhere.
Yes.
And so what better place to start than where you are? And to underscore the point of habit stacking, we know that after a while, habit becomes just a regular pattern of behavior when you do it enough and repetitively enough and frequently enough. It just becomes kind of second nature. So I definitely think that there's a tremendous benefit to starting with something small. You don't, you can probably attest to this. You don't have to do everything, all of the goals, and accomplish everything at once. We want to just start somewhere and move in a good positive direction that's moving you forward. So I love that. Love that. Love that.
Yep. And then we don't appreciate the cumulative effects of the small steps that we're making, because we're so used to just getting the big prize. And that's the only, like, I got to run the marathon. And
Absolutely.
then it's like, we're not appreciating, all the steps that we're taking to get there, which are the most important steps. And, accomplishing the marathon is amazing. Yes. But then a lot of times too, that's when people stop, right? They're like, okay, I did it. I'm done now.
And we know that's not the end of the journey.
Right.
Just the start. I was actually talking with a buddy of mine this morning about a marathon, and he had the kind of disgusted look on his face talking about the prep that goes into it. But we know that those healthy habits and those things that you do now affect how you feel, and not too far, not too distant future. So it's all worth it. It's all worth it when it all comes down to it. So love it, love it, love it. Well, Karen, I don't see any other questions in the chat. So, you talked a little bit about some of the takeaways and some things that you're looking forward to. What else do you want our group here to know before we wrap it up for the day?
Well, I'm just going to share this little tidbit about habits with you all, just as a little fun takeaway, because probably everybody has something that they're thinking about, maybe even going back to January at New Year's resolution time, that maybe you wanted to see happen this year. BJ Fogg has a TED Talk called Tiny Habits that I would recommend. And then James Clear is the author of Atomic Habits, which you may have heard, but they're both just, kind of social scientists, behavior change experts. But James Clear talks about starting any new behavior with a 2-minute time limit. So really breaking it down small. And it's like, okay, so how is that even going to make a difference, right? Like if I do something for 2 minutes today, it's like, yeah, that probably, like if you run for 2 minutes, you're probably not going to be able to run a marathon. But if you do it every day, and then the 2 minutes becomes easy, so then you can challenge yourself for a 3rd, 4th, 5th minute, et cetera, then you're going to start to see some change. And it doesn't have to be fitness related. I mean, if you want to learn to juggle, maybe you are a writer and you haven't picked up a pen in a while and you want to journal. One of mine this year was to read. I wanted to read 12 books this year, 12 fiction books. And so, I thought, well, it doesn't sound that bad. Like I can probably do that. But then if you don't have a plan, you just kind of like, I'll just buy all these books and I'll have them ready. And, that's part of it, is like obviously having the books ready, but just setting aside 2 minutes to read a page. And then, and then you'll start to build on that. So BJ Fogg's Tiny Habits TED talks about habit stacking, which is, it's attaching a new behavior to something that you already do. So we have anchor habits. These are things like Darius was just saying, that they become just part of our routine. Okay. So every morning I make coffee, and so I can stand there and just wait for my coffee to be made, or I could, do something. Maybe I read my couple pages and my 2 minutes of reading. Maybe I have a journal in my kitchen and I open up my journal and I start to write some things down. It's a great time to do a gratitude practice. maybe I step away from my counter and I do 3 push-ups. So it's, or when I get in my car and I buckle my seatbelt, that's another thing we all do all the time. I'm going to take a sip of water from my water bottle. So we are so much more likely to follow through on a new thing if we can attach it to something that we already do. And then the implementation intention is another strategy that James Clear talks about in his book, which is I will do this behavior. I will journal at 5 o'clock in my dining room. So if they did a little study about this, and they had 3 groups. The first group was just told to do the thing. This in the control groups, it was about exercise. The first group was just supposed to track when they did it. The second group tracked it, and then they had to do they had to do research on the benefits of exercise. And then the third group got all the same information as the first 2 control groups, but they had to complete a sentence where they said, I will walk at 6 o'clock in the morning in, my neighborhood, or at the Y on the treadmill. So in the first 2 groups, 35 to 38% exercised at least once a week. So that was pretty good. But in that last one, the people who did the implementation intention, 91% did the thing. Isn't that amazing? So it is, isn't it? I mean, and I think it's, it's a couple of things. I think that when we write something down, we're using our brain. We're actually, we've got the act of writing, which is a reinforcement. And then it's that little bit of commitment. And it's almost like it, kind of in a vision board, you write it down, you put it up there, you see it, and then your subconscious mind helps you, to achieve the behavior. And then, so this is just an example of the tiny habits method. So after I sit down at work, I will turn off notifications for social media. So we have the anchor behavior, we have the tiny behavior, the new desired, something that we want to do. And then we have to celebrate. That's a really important part. We have to, we have to just look at ourselves in the mirror and just say, you did it. I mean, that looks different for everybody. We have a client in our class now. She gives herself a high five every time she achieves something. Yeah. And it feels silly. It's kind of funny, but it works. Yeah, it really does. And then there's a blank one here if anybody wants to screenshot it, but I can also send these out, or you can Google them. They're Googleable and downloadable. And then the implementation intention. So in this example, I will put my phone in my bag before breakfast they gave themselves a time frame, in the kitchen or hallway. So if you've got, if you forget certain things, certain items on a regular basis, this is a great way to help yourself remember. So
love that. I love that. Yeah.
If anybody came up with any examples, I'd love for them to share, or something they want to try.
Absolutely. Please, by all means, drop something in the chat there of some of your examples. What I will say, and we're coming close to our wrap up. I'll just wrap up by just starting out with a thank you to Karen for taking the time out today. And I think the work that you do with New Beginnings, that you and the team, I feel like I can speak for everyone on here to say we're so grateful for that work you've done and you continue to do to support our community and the specific things that around health that they're facing our community. So it's wonderful to have partners like you, for United Way to have a great partner like you. We're definitely grateful for it. I also say thank you to all of the attendees for joining. Obviously, these Tour Tuesdays wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for you all joining and supporting our work. Absolutely could not happen without you. What I will say is that I know that there's probably some folks that may have some questions, and I see we got one coming in through Natalie, thank you. She's just saying how much she appreciated hearing more about the program. I will say that all this information is something that will be available to everyone. I'll share my contact information after the presentation. Each one of the attendees, everybody that's joined, will get my contact information as well as that of Karen and New Beginnings. And so please, by all means, feel free to reach out if you have any follow-up questions. I know Karen and the team at New Beginnings would love for you all to connect and get engaged and either volunteer or become clients. I think that obviously the focal point of the work is the community. And so we definitely want you all to join if and when you can. We have a question from the chat that somebody's asking if they want to get involved. How do they get in contact with you, Karen, and to coordinate the volunteer opportunities?
My email address is K Gillingham. And will this be shared, Darius? Will my contact information be shared? So
it will.
But I'll just K Gillingham at tnbcenter.org.
And you can drop that in the chat for all the folks there as well.
Let me do that real quick. Yeah, good idea.
And then I'll also just say that all the information is covered here will be available. If anyone is interested, we'll send out the recording that you all can view and share with the rest of your teams. But by all means, reach out, connect with us, and help to continue the work that New Beginnings and Karen and her team are doing to support our community.
Yeah, and I just put in, I think I got both of them there. Do you see it, Darius? I put in my email address and website. Did it go in?
I don't see it.
You don't see it? Okay. Hold on a second. And then real quick too, I also just want to reiterate, thanks for everybody attending today and listening as I went through all of this. And thank you to United Way as well for your support. It's been amazing and a great journey with y'all. And we do appreciate all the help that you give us so that we can make our work possible.
Absolutely. We're more than happy to help and support the work that you all are doing, Karen. And I just dropped in the chat a link for anybody that wants to follow up. I definitely would encourage everyone to take some time when you get a second to hit the website, hit that link, and just find out more information about our Tour Tuesdays going forward. And again, we'll share all of the information that we've covered today, either via recording, slide deck, or just subsequent emails. So thank you again. Again, none of this would be possible without all of your support. We're so grateful for everyone that not only has tuned in, but has been supporting all of our work throughout the year, and also specifically supporting Karen and her team over there at New Beginnings. So thank you so much. Karen, you have anything in closing before we head out?
No, just be well. And just wishing you all good health and wellness throughout the rest of this year. But please do reach out if you would like more information about the work that we do, or to join in on one of our programs. I'd love to hear from you. But thank you.
Well, thank you all for joining. I'll say have a wonderful rest of your day. Show love to your neighbor. Yes. Y'all take care.
Thank you. Bye.